Okay, is this better? Can you guys hear me? Okay, I'm going to assume that things are okay now. Let me just double check. Okay, awesome. We're in business. Let me just double check. Okay, awesome. We're in business. Can you tell there was a bit of lag? Matt was running, trying to show me that it is on a go. There's such a thing as volume. But anyways, I'm so glad you can hear me, and we are here together with each other. But I was just saying, welcome to Conscious Business Talks. It is awesome to be here with you. Don't know what it's like where you are, but here it's like Indian summer. It's fabulous. And because of the gorgeous sunlight and when winter is starting, I'm enjoying every single moment that I get with the beautiful warm sunlight on my face, especially when some of the thoughts around me, when they don't seem to be that light and fun, that bit of sunlight and looking at something that's gorgeous just seems to do that trick for me. I snap right out of whatever it is. And one of the things that's on my mind today that I wanted to bring to light with you is like a lot of stuff, conversations in and around, what's happening around me, that bring to light ideas that impact us as human beings and as business owners, what it does for what we bring to others as we create value through our business, right? So this particular one, I gotta say, I usually tend to, I haven't gone down this road with anybody before, so bear with me as I share some thoughts. So a couple of days ago, I read something that I got to thinking, that makes no sense. And it was about Ontario looking at human rights and changing what is counted as human rights when it comes to choice of people about vaccination. Now, to me, I think those of you who know me, choice matters. It doesn't really matter whether your opinion is the same as mine. Doesn't matter what side of the choice you're on. What matters is what we bring to the table as discussion, how we exchange ideas, how we grow through that exchange as human beings, and what is the end result that comes to fruition because we're sharing those ideas with respect and love and compassion and bringing understanding into the mix, right? So as I was reading that, I thought, human rights are human rights. I don't understand how those human rights change with regards to accommodation based on somebody's choice for their health, especially when my understanding is we've already reached, the numbers that make us feel pretty comfortable with regards to herd immunity. And then when we're still boosting ourselves up and things are looking, good in terms of our system, does it really matter what somebody, the small number of people who may not have chosen the same as what some of us may have chosen, does it really matter? And does that affect human rights? And if that human rights definition changes, how does that affect our business? Certainly our lives, because the interactions that are happening with other human beings in our circle, that matters. But what also matters is what we are doing with that information in our own businesses as leaders, as entrepreneurs, as employers, right? Because the other thing, the news that came to my attention was that if any federal workers or hospital workers, and there are other people I think in that too, but those are some of the calls that I got from people who were really distressed, people I love, people who are friends, people who are friends of friends, right? And really distressed that some of them are the main breadwinners, income earners of their families. And if they are not fully vaccinated, double vaccinated by the end of the month, they are going to be fired. That's it. You're going to be fired. And you know that a lot of my attention is on my dad's care arrangements these days with his health, and what supports we're putting in place so he has the attention and the support that he needs. And I was noticing a disruption in the care workers who were coming in their schedule, and I was thinking, what's going on? It doesn't make a lot of sense. And then I found out that a lot of the care workers were told, if you're not double vaccinated, you do not get to have any service appointments. And that includes people who are working remotely from their homes and taking appointments. And I got to thinking, like, there is a part of me which for some reason gets so, I don't know, it tugs at me when people's livelihood and basic necessities, come into play. And what we just take for granted sometimes, when that gets called into question, and when there seems to be a trade-off between your livelihood and do you get to eat, or do you get to choose what you want to do with regards to your health? Because the last, perhaps I'm reaching and projecting, but nobody actively wants to just go die, right? So there must be, from my perspective, I'm thinking there must be a reason why somebody is choosing to hold off, right? So what is it? And without that understanding, to summarily kind of say you either do this, or you may not be able to put food on the table or keep the roof, the shelter that you need to keep everybody safe. Thank you so much. Drinks are important. So anyway, and I had a conversation after that with a friend, because I was sitting there a little stunned about it. And then late at night, it hit me. I don't even know. It was the most beautiful thing that just popped up, and it would not leave me alone. So I started jotting down ideas. They were just flowing through me, and I could not stop. I think it was around 3:30 that morning that I finally put down the pen, because I was thinking, what if I'm asking the wrong question? What if the question isn't, how could this happen? And oh my gosh, like, what? No, it doesn't seem real, like all of that. And how could they, right? That was the question. Or how could a human being possibly do this? I don't understand. And I got to thinking, is that the right question? All that's bringing up for me is frustration, angst, and heartache for people who are going to be suffering because their livelihood is now going to be impacted. And a call from a friend did not help with that, because she was so distressed. And she said, by the end of the month, I'm going to be fired. And this person has a really important job. She does a lot of stuff that is really cool for one of the highest scientific organizations that we as a country have. And the stuff that she does for them is pretty incredible, because she, by her personality, has taken a lot of different roles within her role. So what she produces is actually over and above, right? And the distress that I heard in her voice made me kind of get pulled into that, right? But as I was thinking about this, like, I don't know, tell me if you're feeling this, right? It's tiring to hear about this anymore. Who wants to hear about it, right? It's not just, I heard somebody on, my mom had the news on, and I heard somebody there was a big podium, so I'm assuming somebody from the government, but talking about pandemic fatigue. It's not just pandemic fatigue. It's also information overload about the same kind of stuff that we're hearing. And it's this, the division of vaccinated versus unvaccinated. And I don't usually talk about it, because I always think this isn't the forum for that. But as I'm hearing this, the division, it bugs me. The division bugs me, because it's not the vaccine. It's about people, right? It's about what we as human beings bring to the table, what options and opinions and exchange that we afford each other, what choices are in that mix, and how those choices affect other people. And when I'm saying that, I'm talking about both sides of that debate, so to speak, right? And I don't even know if I can call it a debate, because I'm not hearing an exchange of ideas. All I'm hearing is one thing, right? And everything else, if you're not agreeing with that, it seems to be you're in the wrong. You're anti-vaxxers, or you are those people, And I even heard one gentleman, his name is John Lemon, he said, yes, they are stupid. And I was like, wow, that's a pretty big summary judgment on people. You don't really know who they are. I don't know who they are. I don't know why there is actually, that's not true. I'm saying that if I'm lumping a whole group of people, I don't know who all of them are and what their reasons may or may not be for choosing to either take or not take something, right? And until we start parting some of those curtains and peeking through to see, this is what's going on in this person's life. This is why they're making this decision. Is this decision based on stubbornness, stupidity, quote unquote, like the air quotes for people who can't see my fingers, but is it really that? Like, which it hardly ever is. What is it? And how do we proceed from here? Do we lean into the side of closure, just closing our minds off because we have now summarily stamped it as that thing? Or do we open our understanding and expand that through better questions that we ask about trying to figure out, cool, this is the choice you made. Tell me more, right? And does it truly affect my safety? And if it does, what is it I can do about it? I like to think that there are things that I still have the ability to look at and choose that allow me to have my bubble of whatever it is, right? Whether I choose to call it my bubble of comfort, my bubble of security, my bubble of whatever, because that's literally all it is, right? It can be disrupted like that. But in that disruption, is it always a threat? Or could it be that that threat itself is hiding the opportunity because we're not asking the right questions? So somebody said to me, I'm tired of talking about the vaccine. I don't want to talk about the vaccine. And this is when I was talking about the workers, right? So as I'm talking about it, I'm like, but we're not talking about the vaccine. It's got nothing to do with the vaccine. We're talking about an incredible number of talented, skilled, experienced people now having to look for alternate means of livelihood and provision for their loved ones. And what is this pool of people, like, where are, like, what space of experience are they in? Are they already looking for other jobs, or are they choosing to sacrifice their choice? Are they thinking they have no other choice? Or are they looking to see, hey, who else, what other opportunities are there? And wherever they are in that, are as we as entrepreneurs, is there an opportunity we are bypassing when we think, oh, there's nothing I can do about that? Because I literally could, right? Okay, you're a hospital worker. I don't have a job for you as a hospital employee, whether you're a physician, a nurse, a care worker. So I can't do anything about you. Oh, you're a federal service employee. Wait, what do you do? Something about, okay, no, I don't have a job for you. It's not specifically about what job I have for you or not. What's exciting me is that the threat, the disruption, the distress is hiding an immense opportunity, both for people who may not have ever walked away from something they've been doing for a long time, and for those who may have need for those skills. So darned if I'm going to spend my time moaning about and bemoaning the fact that, all of these things are happening. Can I affect at in the end, other than sharing my my choice to afford people choice about their own health and well-being, and how, whether or not their choice for health and well-being is that good for the greater good, and if not, what does that mean? Open that dialogue. That's a different story. We can go down that particular rabbit hole another day, but I may or may not be able to affect what happens with the rights and the charter and the code of what encompasses human rights, or what makes up human rights. Does that distress me as a human being to know that we can that easily rewrite what we take as human rights because of something that, really, not the first virus that we have dealt with in the human species, not the first pandemic we have dealt with, right? And are we distressed and concerned about it from a global perspective? For sure. But do we have the means to do something about it? I believe so. I choose to believe so. So what I am talking about is whether or not I can affect what happens to the definition of human rights, although I intend to share my opinion about it. And frankly, I am today speaking about that because I'm calling out the people who do stand for choice. I'm asking people to not disconnect because it's not me right now, right? I've heard that, well, it's, at least it's not me, I'm okay. And I'm like, no, if one of us is not okay, none of us are okay, because what affects one affects the whole. We are connected as human beings. So I am asking that wherever you are on this spectrum of choice, and the beautiful thing about choice is that you can be on anywhere on that spectrum. But what I'm asking is, as human beings, as entrepreneurs, as people who are looking at something that affects either, I believe, all of us, what are we missing because we are fixated on the questions that leave us powerless? When I think about, oh my gosh, that's so big. I don't care whether, say, I keep hearing it's the government, it's the media, it's the corporations, it's the pharmaceuticals, it's the, okay, that's a big piles of the that I may or may not affect. But just, do I choose to think that as a human being, if it's just itty bitty me, there is no change that I can affect? I don't believe that, because I've seen in history over and over and over again the power of individuals that have inspired such amazing action to to connecting with other human beings. So let's expand that question. Let's look at it with a little bit of a different view. What is the opportunity in this? And how can we make it so that not only can we solve somebody else's problem with it, but mutually benefit from it so that everybody benefits? That's the stand I'm taking with this. No, I'm not going to let this talk about vaccination or not vaccination consume me and my time, because it preys on at least for me, it preys on the ineffectual. The question for me is the wrong question. It's not even, okay, so I don't know if wrong or right is the right words for it, okay? But what is it a question that inspires, that kind of action that takes us to where we want to go. That's where, as conscious business leaders, as entrepreneurs, who I like to think, we can just bring that rich, amazing, and I hesitate to say the word infectious or contagious, given what I'm referring to in the earlier part of the this show. But frankly, it is that infectious energy that creates legacies, that creates the kind of impact which we as single human beings think we're not capable of. But when we start matching humans with other humans and kind of say, okay, where is this going and what can I do with it? It creates magic. That's what I'm talking about. So these are just some of my thoughts. Right now, I'm literally in the process of, I had a call earlier today with this amazing human that a friend of mine introduced me to. His name is Nuno Tavares. And I was talking to him and I said, tell me this, and this is what I'm thinking. What can we create that would be a minimum viable product that we literally put out there that would help the people being displaced, right? And he brought his thoughts into it. I had a call yesterday with another friend of mine where I was like, okay, so such and such thing is restricted. What's the opportunity there? Hey, you want to get together and pool some money to invest in there? But the whole idea is opening that dialogue, bringing people in. I didn't even ask them which side of choice they were on. It didn't matter. What mattered was, what is it I want to accomplish along with these beautiful human beings for other amazing, beautiful human beings? And as a business owner, I truly think that we are in an incredible space to cause massive, powerful, amazing, beneficial, positive transformations. And that, to me, is what life is about. So I'm asking you, if you know of someone who's in distress, thinking their life is disrupted, please connect to us. Because what I'm looking to see is who is in a space that either me or somebody I know or other amazing people that I connect with, and what we are thinking of having in place for anybody who thinks they may not have a choice. Well, let's create more amazing choice that benefits us all. With that, thank you for being here with me. I love having you here and hearing your thoughts. Share this with anybody you think may get some comfort, some ideas, some inspiration from it. If you know what, there is definitely the subscribe thing, just because it helps promote and spread the message. But I'll see you next Thursday right here at the same time, 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific, and Friday Australian time at 10:30 Brisbane time. Love you guys.